Vanessa Bryant pregnant? What? Oh, hell no, bro. I don't give a damn. The Black Mamba? Not the Black Mamba, bitch. Come on. Oh, hell no. Listen, bro, I don't give a damn. If I was passed away, bro, I was gone for 30 years, bro. It could be 50 years, bro. Bro, you supposed to keep that Cuda Mama caged in like an animal, baby. What is you doing? The Black Mamba? Not Kobe. Not Kobe. Oh no! At this point, man, you can't trust shit out here, bro. And I see a lot of people telling us what y'all want her to do, bro. You want her to, just be like that forever. Yeah. Duh, what you want her to be? Come on, bro. Ain't no, hell no, I can't, bro. Oh hell nah, bro. Ain't no loyalty out here, bro. Ain't no. If we get married, bro, and I pass away, bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. You can't do shit. I'm just keeping it real with you, bro. Cause I will hunt. I'm coming. I'm not Kobe. Damn, Kobe, bitch, out here doing that's crazy, bro. I'ma just say this, bro. All my Kobe fans, bro, y'all know, bro. Listen, bro, we gonna just hold this L in peace, bro. I wish my boy was here, man. That's crazy, man. I ain't Kobe. Damn. Vanessa Bryant.
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakakwadash. Yahweh being the true name of who the world ignorantly calls God. All right, his true name is Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai being the true name of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Okay, I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS, Great Millstone and Ruel, and peace and salutations to the elect of the true nation of Israel, Yasharallah. This is your brother Yakal from Wichita, Kansas. Back at you again with another lesson, man. I've been seeing, videos on TikTok of Jake's, usually, the Jake male, having a problem with, Vanessa, possibly, because, she's, in the search it says Vanessa Bryant denies pregnancy, so possibly pregnant with with another man's kid, man, I'm just gonna, filter this topic out with the scriptures, man, because, Jake's got a problem with it, man. Vanessa having a child, or just, dealing with, I guess in this case, having a child with another man, other than Kobe, even though he passed away 5 years ago, man, roughly 5 years ago, Yeah, it would be 5 years ago, all right, over 5 years ago, man, and some months and some change, because he passed away in the beginning of 2020, and it's, it's the halfway point of 2025, so yeah, over 5 years ago, man, and Jake's having a problems like Kobe, you're gonna get pregnant, but your man was Kobe. Even if he died, like, you're supposed to be locked in, even though he's dead. That's Kobe though. You're gonna do that to Kobe. Hey man, it doesn't matter who it is, man. According to the scriptures, according to the Bible, if a woman's husband passes away, is unalived somehow, some way, she becomes a widow and she is free from the law of that man. So she is obligated to get another man. In the ancient world, she was given to somebody close to that man. All right, they would work things out. Man and man. Just like a will, she would be a part of his will, if I pass away, you're going to deal with, some people would say brother, you're going to be with my brother, which me personally, I wouldn't do that. Cause that's just too close to family, that's kind of weird, but, I'd probably, a friend or somebody closer, but hey, we don't got that here in captivity in America. Women have the full totality freedom to do whatever they want, but really, In this case, yeah, because, it's like, let me stay on topic. So Vanessa, since her husband died, all right, and she's, she was married to him, since he died, she could have got pregnant according to the Bible. She could have got pregnant right away with another man, because women are supposed to be with another man, all right. Not another man. She's supposed to be with a man, okay. All right, she's supposed to be with her man, her husband only, for the rest of their days, unless he is unalived, all right, passes away. Then she is obligated to get another man, all right. And like I said, in the ancient days, they would work things out, all right. The decision wouldn't be up to her; it would be up to her husband. It would be part of his will. He would decide before he is unalived. But that's not the case in this case, because that's frowned upon it here in America, Babylon the Great. So yeah, man, so really, Vanessa Bryant, she's not in the wrong at all. She's in order. The only thing she's out of order of doing is showing herself, as in, like, wearing too revealing of clothing. I'm gonna leave it at that, man. But hey, she lived under the Kobe Bryant's wing, as his wife, and living in Babylon the Great, this wicked ass kingdom. So what do you expect, But yeah, in this case, she's in order, man. All right, she was with Kobe Bryant, she even stayed with him after the allegations of him doing, cheating in Denver. We all know that's the allegations of him cheating, all right, which really he didn't do nothing wrong, according to the Bible, he didn't do nothing wrong, because a man can't cheat according to the scriptures, man. Yes, there's a man, there's you got to do things decently in order, don't just be, doing things out of order, man, in front of your woman like that, man. But a man, he could deal with multiple women, man. All right, not be a whoremonger, but a man, according to the Bible, is allowed to deal with other women. So yeah, man. And after him, after the incident, I think it was like late 2002, 2003 or something like that, he supposedly cheated. She ended up still staying with him, man, which is a righteous thing. All right, according to the Bible. All right, and she stayed with him even, all the way until he passed away. All right, and even after that, she stayed single, and for a period of time. A woman's gonna get lonely. Hey, according to the Bible, a woman's supposed to get with a man, as soon as possible, man. Yeah, weep for her husband, and then bang, you get another husband, man. Not husbands, but another husband, and stay with him, All right. So, she did nothing wrong, according to the Bible. And especially here in this wicked ass world, all right, where righteousness is not held to a standard, she kept it pretty up to a buck, pretty right. You kept it really, righteous, even to a wicked man like Kobe. Yes, Kobe was not a righteous man of God, all right. And I'm not even gonna, that's a topic for another lesson, man, But yeah, man, she did nothing wrong, man, Let me get this. What is it? I hope I didn't delete it. I just typed it on Google. What law is it where a woman has to be with her husband until he dies, And here's 1 Corinthians 7:39. It says, it says the wife is bound by the law as long as her husband liveth. All right. So she's supposed to be with her husband as long as he lives, man. And what did Vanessa Bryant do? She did exactly that, even after he cheated, supposedly. Because like I said, men can't cheat, okay? But if her husband be dead, she is at liberty to be married to whom she will, only in the Lord. Okay? All right? So who cares if she got pregnant by another man? Is not God, so-called God, is not Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai the God of the living? All right? Did he not say, be fruitful and multiply? All right? She's obviously still fruitful. Okay? Okay? At her age. And she's having more children, you know? Because obviously Kobe Bryant isn't here to be doing that. Okay? All right? Because if it was up to her or him, he would be having more children, if it was up to them, but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, doing what she did is righteous, man, which, hey, props to her, man. She's being, she's being righteous, even under the tutelage, under the wing of wicked people, man. Kobe Bryant was wicked, man, but she stayed loyal to him and lived her, righteously, as a woman, No, she's not a woman of God, but hey, she lived righteously, and hey, the Lord might bless her, for keep being righteous. But who knows, man? But yeah, just on this topic, just staying on topic, man. Romans 7:2. Let's get that. Romans 7 verse 2. I think I got it down over here. No. What is that? Did I delete it? I'll just type it in. Romans 7 verse 2. Okay, it says, for the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to her husband so long as he liveth, but if the husband be dead, she is loosed from the law of her husband. Okay, so she's supposed to be married and get with another husband, man. All right, that's what that means. All right, which means have another kid, have children, because the Lord commands us as Israelites, because she's an Israelite woman, supposedly an Issacharite, so-called Mexican. She is supposed to, the Lord commands us to be fruitful and multiply, man. Which is a righteous thing. So she's doing nothing wrong, man. Okay. It's just Jake, all right, having a problem with it because she's moved on. These women aren't loyal, man. Even after you die, like, dude, like, get out of that mindset, man. That's a worldly mindset, Romans 4:15, it says, because the law worketh wrath, for where no law is, there is no transgression. So, hey, man, I brought this precept out because, hey, man, Kobe Bryant, he's not here no more. All right. She's supposed to get with another husband, man. All right. And she did exactly that, man. Okay. So, yeah, man, no matter who it is, you're supposed to be fruitful and multiply, because the scriptures say a woman, he'd rather have a woman be married, all right, than be single and an adulteress, okay, and be a career woman, and go to college and get and lay down with hundreds and thousands of men, because we all hear those stories of women and how they are, in college and whatnot, when they go to college. Okay, they just get ran through the ringer, man. All right, by all these men. Okay, the Lord does not want that for our women. So her husband, all right, Kobe Bryant. All right, as great as he was in the so-called black community and Israelite community, man, as a basketball player, he wasn't no man of God, All right, and he is not here no more. So, hey, she got another man, which is according to the Bible, and now she's having kids with him, which is according to the Bible too, man. All right, Jake is just in his feelings, man. so-called black men, even Latino men, because I'm a Kobe Bryant fan. I'm not black. I'm an Issacharite. I'm so-called Mexican. And I don't got a problem with this. You know, she's doing things in order, decently in order, you know. You know, Kobe Bryant he's not my brother, you know. I'm not Kobe Bryant. She's not my woman, you know. That's not my woman, you know. But I see what she's doing, you know, because it's out in the public. Supposedly pregnant, if not, she's not pregnant, but, you know, she's dealing with other men, you know. You know, the Lord doesn't want a woman, especially an Israelite woman, his daughters, to be single, all right? Women are supposed to be servants to her husband, a husband under a man, all right? Because that's what the word woman goes back to, being a servant, a man's servant, okay? Subservient to men. That's the woman's role, okay? And that's what she's doing, man. Getting another man and having children, which is the beautiful role that the Lord created us. What the Lord created a women for, man. All right. A man can't have children, you know, bear fruit, you know. A man can't sprout the seed and make it a baby, you know. A man has the seed and plants the seed, you know. But without the woman, it won't become a human, you know, a living person, man. That's why the Lord gave us women, you know. All right. For a pillar of rest, to multiply the nation. Even though the Lord is the one that forms your members and your ligaments and your brain and your cells and everything in her womb, she doesn't do that. The Lord uses her to do that, man. You know, because give all glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, the Lord. All right. But hey, the Lord, you know, gave us women for the purposes that the Lord gave us women for, man. All right. You know, sex. All right. Helping us out, being our servants righteously, because people don't like hearing the word woman and servant in the same sentence, which is, it's a righteous thing, you know. Okay. Being a servant, you know, you could be a righteous servant. You could also treat a servant wickedly, you know, unjustly. But we're supposed to treat our women, respect our women, and honor our women, which that's what we're supposed to do, man. Okay. You know, honor our servants, man. You know, respect our servants. You know, respect our women. Okay. Not just slap them around and cuss them out all the time and kick them and only yell at them. You're only going to speak to me when I say so. No, you don't treat women like that, man. You know, what the hell? I'm going to beat my woman. No, man. That's not how you treat women, man. All right? People, that you know, that they think of us Israelites like that when we say women are supposed to be our servants. You know? That's a wicked man. That's a man being a lion in his house, you know? But anyway, that's neither here nor there, man. All right? Staying on topic. One more precept. This is Proverbs 14 and 12. This is towards you men who got a problem with Vanessa possibly having a kid with another man, even though Kobe Bryant's dead and gone, man. All right? When the Lord told us to be fruitful and multiply. All right? All right. Proverbs 14 and 12, it says, there is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Okay? So, you know, before I came into this truth, before the Lord revealed this truth unto me, I would have probably felt the same way. I would have probably been like, because I used to believe in that MGTOW stuff, you know, men going their own way, you know. This is a real, pretty red pill, man-centric kind of topic, you know, saying, you know, having a problem with Vanessa Bryant having a kid, you know, with another man after he's unalived, man, after he's dead and gone, you know, which, according to the Bible, there's nothing wrong with that, man. Okay. You know, so it may seem right to you. It may seem that, hey, you know, what she's doing is wrong. That may seem right in your mind that what she's doing is wrong. What she's doing is wrong, you know. But it's not up to what you think. It's not about what I think, what you think. It's about what the Lord thinks. All right. And what she's doing is what she's doing is Actually, according to the scriptures, man. If she knows it or not. If you know it or not. Okay?